last thing that I have to say about 50 Shades of Grey is my dashed expectations. As I mentioned, I have worked with several women who claimed that not only the books, but the movies were good content. Content they talked about together within my hearing proximity, stood by, were excited by, and more than anything, enjoyed. I do not share these sentiments, if you can't tell. I have also only watched one of the movies, so who knows, maybe they could have swayed my opinion by some miracle. But anyway, the point is that hearing this from women hurt me. Not because it's a romance, or not because it's an erotica, or even because of the bland plot and the characters and the terrible pacing. It's because 50 Shades, from my expectations, and based on these empowered women, was not what it was supposed to be. Because that was part of the argument for it in social media when it blew up. Its surge of popularity and praise by mostly middle-aged women was about empowerment. Every husband who shook his head at his wife going to the theater to see porn was slapped on the wrist for kink shaming and not being sexually open enough. Because they either need to be on board or they're the reason their wives aren't satisfied enough. They generally tended to choose the former. Just like, fucking let them get away with this smut, who cares? And that's not sarcastic, because I don't believe that any man has the right to tell their woman to calm their tits, even though it's arguably funny sometimes. I'm sarcastic because this whole revolution was a fucking joke. And I'm a little mad at my expectations not being met, because I thought women were actually being empowered. But it's just drivel. If you're kink shaming anyone for liking shit in 50 Shades, you have no idea what a kink even is, and you should go to wherever they send incels to die. That got a little aggressive, but I like it. It's the new me. At least 50 Shades worked on someone. 50 Shades of Grey is not an acceptance of BDSM. Okay, I said it. This is not a mainstream revolution for the kinky fucks of the world, because they're not really kinky fucks. They bring in fairly reasonable toys and play that anyone by 30 should probably have tried already, I hope. And that's why it's angering for me. Those coworkers of mine are sheltered. I'm not outing myself as some kind of deviant, but I think that it's just something crazy that they've been so suppressed. What I think makes 50 Shades of Grey so appealing to those people is that Anna is coming like twice every sexual encounter, and Christian gets his pleasure from that. The average woman is clearly being ignored. They're jealous, trying to be a voyeur in Anna's sexcapades, but honestly, 50 Shades is not about BDSM liberation. It's about having slightly rougher monogamous sex. The entire 50 Shades series is an elaborate ploy. They advertise BDSM, gives the average housewife a reason to feel like she's entitled to a little bit more. And then it settles out at the end with Christian being a loving husband and the two of them starting a classic happy marriage with 2 kids and rough vanilla sex. But it's fulfilling because we care and they changed. Maybe I should be satisfied with people being more apt to talk about the inclusion of toys in the bedroom and spanking, but I'm not. It's the 21st century. This should be pretty commonplace. Fun fact about me, actually, hold on. The first and only time I have ever been published to date was in an erotica anthology. I did not bring the book with me. It didn't make the cut. I'm sorry. But you can look it up online if you want. It's $10 for the collection. It's okay. I wouldn't really recommend it. I wrote for this publishing company specifically. It was a free submission. I had nothing to do. I threw something together for the theme and I actually got in. I was shocked and I felt bad for the rest of the works in it, honestly, because I didn't put my full heart into it. But in that anthology, there was one other story that actually told an enlightening perspective on sexuality. It was the story of a sub and a dom relationship, and they go to shows, viewings, I don't remember the exact term, but they go into a room, they put on a sex show, and as much as the relationship between a dom and a sub are similar to what 50 Shades of Grey describes, it actually has the described qualities of the dynamic. Forgive me. I was putting dom in the masculine when obviously it can be either. So, a dom is not an asshole that doesn't listen to a goddamn thing the sub says. And a sub isn't a wanton piece of shit, like Christian and Anna. There's a lot of trust and caring in the BDSM relationship shown in that short story, and they have rules that are respected, and it was really different, but functional and beautiful. I think what gets me so mad about 50 Shades of Grey is not the writing or the problematic relationship. It's that it was supposed to raise up BDSM and alternative sexual preferences, but instead, the bits that are included are used in a scheme to promote fairly vanilla monogamous relationships that end in a wife and a husband and 2 kids living happily ever after. The nuclear family. This was all just propaganda for the nuclear family. It's not revolutionary. It's more of the same shit that we already have too much of. Y'all deprived middle-aged housewives got played, and I am not for it. So, as much as by the end of this, I thought I needed to rant at least a little bit about the writing and the characters, but I think I'm good. That felt kind of cathartic. And more than anything, I feel inspired to write erotica, not because I like it or hate it, but because it deserves better, deeper content than 50 Shades of Grey, and it deserves better than the shitty short story that I previously wrote for the Private Lessons anthology. All genres should be held to equality standards, and I'm disappointed I was an enabler of the classic basic bitch agenda that I just described. I am sorry, world, but I assure you, I am going to whip myself into shape. Get it? And it doesn't matter. I hate myself because that was terrible, but still better than the wordplay and flirting in 50 Shades. What have I become? Anyway, thanks for watching my 50 Shades review, commentary, rants, whatever you want to call it. The literary worlds and the sexual world deserved better than 50 Shades of Grey. And that's mostly what I got to say. If you'd like to go off on your own rant about all of the things that you didn't like about it that I didn't get to, because obviously I don't have time, feel free to just pop off in the comments. I will actually enjoy it a lot. Bye. I'll be back next Friday for another less than insightful commentary on a book, movie, something, and you can check me out every Tuesday with a dumb vlog. So, see you later.